Hi, my name is Mike Milburn, and I'm going to tell the story of how God delivered me from a physical disability that had become a real problem for me back several years ago. I developed a condition called hemifacial spasms, where about half of my face would just spasm uncontrollably, and really it was not only bothersome, but it began to impact my ministry because it would even pull my mouth and things like that. And I was afraid that the women in the congregation would think I was winking at them because my eye was just going nonstop, and I couldn't control it. Looked for doctors all over the place, took Botox, and all kinds of things to try to, and all kinds of medications to try to control it. And finally, on the internet, found a doctor who did surgery to correct this procedure. It was a pretty invasive surgery involving working back near the brainstem, so it was intracranium and everything like that, which was sort of scary, very scary for me. and yet the Lord kept moving me in that direction, and with my wife's help, encouragement, and prayer support, I made a trip out to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, to visit with this doctor about this surgery. It's called microvascular decompression. And went out there, and of course I was concerned about whether it was new surgery, because there were all kinds of things that could go wrong. You could lose your hearing, you could lose sensation, and all kinds of things. But this doctor was a good Christian man, trained at Harvard, had been doing this surgery for 10 years. And whereas doctors here in the Metroplex had done it, a handful of times over the last 2 or 3 years, so weren't really experienced in it a lot. And so I decided I was going to do it. It seemed like the Lord's hand was in this all the way. And so Gayla and I flew out to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I had this surgery. Actually, I had it twice, because I had the surgery, woke up in neuro ICU, and my face was spasming even worse than before. I mean, it was just out of control spasms when I woke up in neuro ICU, and that was after a 5-hour surgery. The doctor walked in that day. I remember it like it was yesterday, and he said, "Oops, I see what we need to do." And basically, we had to go back in the next day and redo the surgery, and just move a little Teflon pad that he had placed between a nerve and a blood vessel back near my brainstem. And when I woke up in neuro ICU the next day, no spasm at all. I mean, it was a miracle for me. And on top of that, we found in that experience how, with the church's love and support, I mean, the Lord used our church and in so many ways. He timed it just right so that it wasn't a huge financial burden for Gayla and me, because I had 2 insurances at the time. For about a 6-month period, I was covered by 2 insurances. It didn't cost me a penny out of pocket. And it was, I mean, this is a tens of thousands of dollars type surgery, plus the trip out there, and without our knowing it, some friends in the church even paid for our hotel bill and stuff like that. I mean, it was just incredible. And Don Orr's wife, before I left for the surgery, came up and gave me a scripture, just handed it to me, written on a card out of the Psalms, about how the Lord was going to take care of me, and He knew exactly what was going on with me, and it blessed my heart, and it became a word from God to me that God was going to see me through this thing. And sure enough, He did. And it's been a blessing to my life for the last 10 years since that surgery.